First, basketball star Caitlin Clark was chosen as the Associated Press's WNBA Rookie of the Year. Clark was also named in the AP's All-WNBA First Team and the All-Rookie Team. The 22-year-old became the first rookie to record a triple-double. By the way, Clark also holds the record for the most three-pointers made by a rookie in league history. She recently led the Indiana Fever to its first playoff appearance since 2016. Big congrats to her.
Imagine being pushed to the edge where someone else's success gets under your skin so much that you can't keep your temper on hold. That's precisely what happened in the WNBA when Chennedy Carter, the Chicago Sky star guard, finally reached her breaking point. Why? Because of the Indiana Fever rookie sensation, Caitlin Clark didn't just take home one of the league's highest honors, she carted away two. First for Best Athletes in Women's Sport and Record-Breaking Performance. Two important awards that had everyone excited, but not Chennedy.
In a very short period of time, former Iowa Hawkeye superstar Caitlin Clark has become one of the most celebrated athletes in sports, and that was on display tonight at the ESPYs as Clark was a candidate for some major awards. Caitlin Clark was up for 3 awards tonight, and Clark wins 2 of them for the best athlete in women's college sport and also the best record-breaking performance. That means in any professional or collegiate. Caitlin Clark was not in Los Angeles to personally pick up her award, but she did give a video presentation.
My name is Caitlin Clark. I just wanted to say thank you for this recognition. Obviously, I could not be there tonight. I'm a little bit busy in Indianapolis, but this award means a lot not only to myself, but to my teammates and coaches that I had at the University of Iowa.
Sylvester's Comprehensive Cancer Center and the V Foundation
Although
have
Clark
committed
was
to
not
raise
there in person, host Serena Williams, the tennis great, had some nice things to say about her.
Caitlin Clark had an amazing year and is nominated for 3 awards. Caitlin, you are the Larry Bird in that you are an amazing player. You have ties to Indiana, and white people are really crazy about you.
And that is very true. Besides winning tonight, Caitlin Clark was a part of the big opening video montage for the ESPYs. Clark and the Indiana Fever are back on the court on Friday night when the Indiana Fever hosts the Phoenix Mercury in the WNBA.
The announcement hit her so hard. It was as if a ton of bricks was thrown over her when she heard the news, sparking the fury she had kept buried inside of her. But why this much anger? Why would Carter, one of the league's top players, be so taken by the accomplishment of a newcomer?
And converting. 6 seconds to go, opening quarter. Chennedy Carter, crossover to the rim. And only Dallas takes fewer threes. Carter, a little pirouette and a dance in the paint.
Out into it here at Wintrust. Leads back up to double figures. How about Carter? Leaving everyone in her dust.
Carter on the left.
Bad pass.
Carter, the quick move to score. Oh! Counted. What a move, Chennedy Carter.
Muscles are way up. The and one.
And she will be defending and boxing out on Reese. Here's Carter to the rack again. These two are going to have a battle tonight.
This is not just a tale of competition. It's a battle of pride, reputation, and clash of ambitions. Carter's reaction wasn't just heated, it was volcanic. And you'll want to ask, what was it about Clark that took over Carter's emotional outburst? Was it jealousy? A feeling of being overshadowed? Or is there something much deeper, like a brewing bitterness that has been boiling all along, waiting for the perfect time to erupt?
But it was a rough night for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. Last night she only scored 3 points and a blowout loss to the New York Liberty. But it was a game on Saturday between the Fever and the Chicago Sky that had a lot of people talking. Fans were so hyped for Caitlin, Angel Reese, and Camila Cardoso to all be back on the same court. However, the moment that made headlines, this right here, the hard foul involving Clark and Chennedy Carter. Eva Pilgrim has that story for us.
Hey, good morning, Robin. As you know, there is no love lost between these two teams. People were excited to see those rookies on the court together again, but all the players on that court giving fans a show.
This morning, this physical moment involving the WNBA's most high-profile rookie raising questions.
Unnecessary.
Chicago's Chennedy Carter shoulder-checking the Fever's Caitlin Clark, knocking her to the ground. The call initially deemed a common foul by officials.
A little surprised that it's nothing more than a common foul beyond that.
This flaring up was just more than a moment. It signaled the beginning of a new chapter in the WNBA, a rivalry that is about to engulf the league's landscape. Buckle up, because what happened next took everyone by surprise. Before we get into Carter's sudden anger, let's look at the rookie sensation. Caitlin Clark. Clark is no ordinary rook. From the moment she got drafted into the WNBA, everybody knew she was destined for greatness, and her first game proved it.
But it was a rough night for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. Last night, she only scored 3 points and a blowout loss to the New York Liberty. But it was a game on Saturday between the Fever and the Chicago Sky that had a lot of people talking. Fans were so hyped for Caitlin, Angel Reese, and Camila Cardoso to all be back on the same court. However, the moment that made headlines, this right here, the hard foul involving Clark and Chennedy Carter. Eva Pilgrim has that story for us.
Hey, good morning, Robin. As you know, there is no love lost between these two teams. People were excited to see those rookies on the court together again, but all the players on that court giving fans a show.
This morning, this physical moment involving the WNBA's most high-profile rookie raising questions.
Unnecessary.
Chicago's Chennedy Carter shoulder-checking the Fever's Caitlin Clark, knocking her to the ground. The call initially deemed a common foul by officials.
A little surprised that it's nothing more than a common foul beyond that.
Clark came into the game like a lightning bolt, fast, unstoppable, and electrifying. In her debut campaign, she not only dazzled the fans and analysts with her 24 points per game, but was able to orchestrate the offense with a league-leading 8.5 assists per game since August. Her three-pointer throws mesmerized even the most celebrated legends of the game, and her passes left defenders scrambling.
Some shots.
45 blocks last year. Clark for 3. Clark, they said she has redefined what a good shot is. Look how far out she was.
Can they defend and stop other players from other teams from scoring?
Well, last year Indiana was 10th in pace. Christy Sides telling us Clark rattles her second 3. Again, Cheryl.
I mean, she's just so crafty.
That's what Chris Cadroa told me about you at Texas Tech. They wanted the offensive foul. Not going to get it. Caitlin Clark. The turnover ratio in her career last season. Clark gets away with a little push. Fall away, buries it. And a little reaction for the crowd.
She's really, really good and savvy with the basketball in her hands.
But it wasn't just about her stats that endeared the fans. Clark revitalized the Indiana Fever team, single-handedly taking them from the bottom of the standings to the playoff contender in just one season of her arrival. As if that is not enough, she won every match for the Fever with style, capturing headlines, filling arenas, and becoming the face of a new era in the OMB. Her fan base multiplied so much that each time her team is playing, the tickets are sold out, and even opponents had to admit that they were witnessing something special.
The Caitlin Clark hype is real, but a statistic that we saw on X is not. Longtime basketball writer Dick Weiss posted that more Caitlin Clark Indiana Fever jerseys were sold in one day than the Cowboys sold last year for the entire team. We verified that claim, and our source is Fanatics, a retailer that produces and sells team jerseys. They just told us that claim is, quote, not true and inaccurate. Clark's Indiana Fever jersey did sell out, but more than every single Dallas Cowboy all of last season? No. Clark makes her WNBA debut next Friday in a preseason game against the Dallas Wings in Arlington.
And for all that she has achieved, not everyone was ready to acknowledge her yet. Chennedy Carter wasn't moved. And that's when the sparks started to fly.
Well, ever since the WNBA draft, this was a game that was circled on the calendar. Now, after splitting their 2 matchups in the NCAA tournament, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese had their debut matchup in the pros, which, by the way, was overshadowed by one moment in the second half. And it seems like this has happened a few times. Clark took a blindside cheap shot from Chicago's Chennedy Carter, who had some not-so-safe-for-work comments right before it happened. Now, Carter, by the way, was only assessed a regular foul for this play and refused to answer any questions about Caitlin Clark in the post-game presser. But no doubt the questions will and should be continued to be asked.
Now, let's get a glimpse of who Chennedy Carter is She's a player that has fought for recognition since she came into the league. Carter, a talented and aggressive scorer for the Chicago Sky, has always been a force among her teammates. But most often she always finds herself overshadowed by other stars, whether due to being left off the All-Star team or constantly being compared to the league's rising talents. Carter's frustration has been boiling for years.
Her ability to read things and to recognize that she was all alone on an island. Carter there. Stewie. And just the transition points by Chicago there, going back to Chicago. But you just see how New York got back on defense, but Kennedy.
Jonquel Jones this morning really giving Angel Reese a lot of praise. She says, yes, she is a high draft.
Allen drops it off to Carter. A team that usually shoots over 90% from the free throw line. 64% tonight, and it leads to a bucket.
She's really ascending to a much greater role, Dana Evans, this season.
For her, Clark's sudden rise to superstardom was the final straw. Despite averaging a respectable 17.2 points per game, Carter felt that her hard work has been overshadowed by the media buzz surrounding Caitlin Clark's games. To her, it is disrespectful to place a rookie above her. The comparison in her mind was unfair, and Carter couldn't hold back any longer. So when ESPN ranking came out for the top 25 WNBA players and Clark on top of her, she couldn't hold the rage anymore. Her pride was wounded, and she made sure everyone knew it. When asked about the ranking, it wasn't just her reaction that got everyone worried. It was her declaration of war.
Chennedy Carter loses her cool after ESPN ranks Caitlin Clark over her. However, her antics might come back to bite her. The WNBA has been more popular than ever, thanks to the elite rookies that made their way to the league, spearheaded by Caitlin Clark. However, Caitlin's transition to the WNBA has not been met positively by everyone. One of her biggest haters, Chennedy Carter, once again lost her mind after ESPN ranked Caitlin over her in their top 25 WNBA players list. Now, the list has all the heavy hitters, such as Asia Wilson, Breanna Stewart, and Sabrina Ionescu, just to name a few. Among these established stars, one name has steadily climbed the ranks, Caitlin Clark. Simply put, Caitlin has been a phenom. However, she didn't have the smoothest of starts in the WNBA. She famously started her WNBA career setting an unflattering record. She scored 20 points in her debut game, but during that game, she also committed.
Carter's rage wasn't just emotional, it was deliberate. She took to social media to send sharp criticism of Clark's game, questioning if the rookie phenom had any real stuff beyond her notable three-point shooting. What does Clark bring besides a flashy jumper? Carter raged. It was an intense jab at Clark's play style, one that challenged everything Clark had attained. Her criticisms doubled down to mean that Caitlin Clark was more of a media buzz than a true, all-rounded player. The description that Clark was a one-trick pony quickly spread among Clark's supporters, but many people within the WNBA saw it for what it was: a desperate stab on the back of a rising star. Carter's remarks didn't just stir up a storm, they ignited tension that reached a boiling point. But how did Caitlin Clark respond to such a public and personal attack? Her answer came in the best way possible on the court. Caitlin Clark could have easily done the same by using social media to fight back and respond to Carter's sarcastic remarks. But instead, she did what she knows how to do best: she took it to the court. The very next game after Carter's remark, Clark delivered a breathtaking performance. It was as if she was sending a message to Carter without actually uttering a word. Clark didn't just win the match for her team, her triple-double made history and silenced her critics. 19 points, 13 assists, 12 rebounds. Clark showed exactly why she is the real phenom. And it wasn't just about her three-point signature. She commanded the pace of the game, set up her teammates for easy buckets, and grabbed crucial rebounds. In just one game after her haters' remark, she completely erased every doubt of her.
She's up there with rebounds, up there with steals. And she'll take the first three-pointer and knock it down and treat the fans to that. It's because of a knee injury.
And that's the way to push the ball in transition.
Oh, they're not going to waste much time. Caitlin Clark has her second three-pointer. 3 and some change left to play here in the first quarter. Caitlin Clark pulls it back, knocks it down. Her third three of the quarter. First year with the Liberty and the WNBA. Phoebish, the rookie, defending the other rookie. Caitlin Clark Caitlin Clark, 13 points. Pocket pass to Aaliyah Boston. Caitlin Clark to Smith. A rocket of a pass. And Boston lays it in.
Her performance speaks volume of her quality, and the WNBA world took notice. Clark wasn't just a rookie sensation, she was a complete player, a leader with the knack to carry her team on her back in crucial times. And while Carter's words may have stung, Clark's response was as cold as ice. She let her game do all the talking, and it said more than any tweets ever could. Clark's response to Carter wasn't just about silencing her haters, it's more about proving her worth as a formidable leader. After the record-breaking triple-double performance, Clark didn't attribute the success to herself alone. Instead, she credited her teammates for the win. It was a show of humility that left fans even more in respect of her leadership skills. When Clark joined Indiana Fever, she transformed the team from a struggling team to a legitimate playoff contender. Her team's offense revolves around her extra super playmaking ability, and her basketball IQ gives her an added advantage to adapt to whatever the defense throws at her. She wasn't just a scorer, she was the engine that propelled her team. Clark's leadership wasn't just a fluke, it was as a result of years of preparation and hard work. This season might have been her first in the league, but she played like a veteran. And as the praise from fans, analysts, and players continue to pile up, Clark's impact on the WNBA became unquestionable. However, as Clark's star continued to rise, so too did the resentment from players like Chennedy Carter.
And then Kennedy just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that moment between you and Caitlin. What was on that play, what was said, and kind of what led to?
Next question.
Yeah, play before Caitlin, it seemed like she turned to you a little bit.
Yeah.
After
I ain't answering no Caitlin Clark questions.
Did she say anything to you?
I don't know what she said.
What'd you say to her?
I didn't say anything.
That's enough.
We're good. She's good.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, but I think it's just like, just respond, calm down, let your play do the talking. It is what it is. It's a physical game. Go make the free throw and then execute on offense, and I feel like that's kind of what we did, but you know, it is what it is, I guess. I don't know.
With tension spilling over, fans are eagerly waiting for the next face-off between Chennedy Carter and Caitlin Clark. The next time Indiana Fever and Chicago Sky meet, all eyes will be focused on these two stars. Will Carter step up her game and prove that she deserves the respect she's been craving, or will Clark continue to dominate and silence her critics? No matter what happens, one thing is certain: this rivalry is just getting started, and their clash will be one of the most exciting dramas in the league. As these two stars continue to make headlines, the WNBA is better for it. Rivalries like this don't happen every day, and the intensity between these two players is palpable. So what's going to happen next? Only time will tell, but one thing is clear: the entire WNBA community and the world will be watching. In the end, the hostility that's boiling between Chennedy Carter and Caitlin Clark goes far beyond basketball. It's about respect, recognition, and what makes a great star in the WNBA. Carter's anger at Clark's achievement is understandable, but it also shows how much Clark has put into what she has become in a short time. As fans, it's good we can see the rivalry between these two star players in real time. Whether you're for Carter or for Clark, there's no denying that these two players are raising the bar and pushing each other to be better. And as they continue to show what stuff they are made of in the court, we'll be watching them every step of the way. This is definitely more than a story about basketball. It's a story about ambition, rivalry, and the fight for recognition. So, who will come out unscathed? Only time will tell. But one thing that is very clear is, the WNBA has never seen anything this exciting.
Well, tonight, Caitlin Clark was up for 3 ESPY awards and had the most nominations of the night. The Indiana Fever star came away with 2 awards: Best College Athlete in Women's Sports and Best Record-Breaking Performance. Clark led Iowa to back-to-back national championship appearances and finished her collegiate career as the NCAA's all-time leading scorer. She was also nominated for Best Athlete in Women's Sports, but that went to Las Vegas Aces center A'ja Wilson.